I want you to think about something for a second. Your employer, right now, is probably offering to give you extra money. Not a bonus, not a raise, not some complicated scheme. Just extra money on top of your salary. All you have to do is not opt out of it. And yet, millions of people across the UK are either opting out, under-contributing, or just completely ignoring their workplace pension and walking away from thousands of pounds every single year. I'm not here to lecture you about retirement. I'm here to show you, with actual numbers, how much money you could be leaving on the table and what you can do about it today. Stay until session 4, because I'm going to show you a real calculation that will genuinely change the way you think about that pension contribution on your payslip. Let's get into it. Welcome back. Or if this is your first time here, a big welcome to you. This channel is dedicated to practical, no-nonsense money advice for everyday people living and working in the UK. Today we're talking about workplace pensions, specifically auto-enrollment, employer contributions, and how to make sure you're getting every single penny you're entitled to. Now I know, pensions can feel boring. They feel distant, like something you'll deal with later. But here's the thing, the earlier you understand this, the more money you end up with. And we're talking about potentially tens of thousands of pounds of difference. I've broken this into 7 clear sections. Timestamps are in the description. But please, watch this one all the way through. It builds, and the later sections have the most valuable stuff. Right? Let's start with what a workplace pension actually is. A workplace pension is a pension scheme set up by your employer that you save into during your working life. When you retire, you draw from that pot as an income. But here's what makes workplace pensions different from just saving money yourself. And this is the key thing. 3 parties are contributing to it, not just you. First, you contribute a percentage of your salary. Second, your employer adds money on top of that. Third, the government gives you tax relief on your contributions, essentially topping up what you put in. 3 sources of money going into one pot that belongs entirely to you. Since 2012, UK employers have been legally required to automatically enroll eligible workers into a workplace pension. This is called auto-enrollment. You're eligible if you are aged between 22 and state pension age, earn over £10,000 per year, work in the UK. The moment you meet those criteria, your employer must enroll you. You can opt out if you choose, but as you'll see in a moment, opting out is one of the most expensive financial decisions you can make. The most common workplace pension provider you'll hear about is Nest, the government-backed scheme many smaller employers use. But you might also be with the People's Pension, Aviva, Legal & General, or others. The principles are the same regardless of provider. Let's talk numbers, because this is where it gets really tangible. Under auto-enrollment, there are minimum contribution levels set by law. Currently, the total minimum contribution is 8% of your qualifying earnings. That 8% is split like this. You contribute at least 5%, but this includes your tax relief, so your actual take-home cost is lower. Your employer must contribute at least 3%. Now, qualifying earnings doesn't mean your entire salary. It means earnings between £6,240 and £50,270 per year. So if you earn £28,000, your qualifying earnings are £28,000 as £6,240, which is £21,760. The contributions are calculated on that £21,760 figure. And this matters enormously, many employers contribute more than the 3% legal minimum. Some match whatever you put in. Some have tiered schemes. Some contribute 5%, 6%, even 10%. This is where it pays literally to read your employment contract or speak to your HR department. Because if your employer matches up to 6% and you're only contributing 5%, you're leaving free money behind. Your one action from this section: find out exactly what your employer contributes and at what levels. Today, paying 20% tax. For every £80 you contribute from your take-home pay, the government adds £20 in tax relief. So £80 from your pocket becomes £100 in your pension pot. That's an immediate 25% boost before any investment returns. If you're a higher rate taxpayer, paying 40%, you can claim even more back. For every £60 you put in, the government adds £40. Your pension pot receives £100. Higher rate taxpayers need to claim the additional relief through self-assessment. It doesn't always happen automatically. If you're a higher earner and you haven't been claiming this, speak to an accountant. There may be back years you can reclaim. Tax relief is essentially the government subsidizing your retirement savings. When you combine it with your employer's contribution, every pound you put in is already worth significantly more before it's even invested. There's genuinely no savings account or ISA in the world that gives you an immediate return like that. Right, this is the section I promised you at the start, the actual numbers, because this is where pension contributions stop being abstract and start being real. Let me walk you through a straightforward example. Scenario: someone earning £28,000 a year, age 25, retiring at 65. If they stay enrolled with standard contributions, employee contribution 5%, roughly £91 per month, but their actual take-home cost after tax relief, approximately £73 per month, employer contribution 3%, roughly £55 per month. Total going into the pot monthly, approximately £146. Over 40 years, assuming modest investment growth of around 5% annually, that pot could grow to somewhere in the region of £220,000 to £250,000. Now the opted-out version. That same person opts out at 25 and never contributes. At 65, zero pension pot. They've also given back every single employer contribution. Every month, for 40 years, their employer was offering free money, and they said no. Over 40 years, employer contributions alone on this salary add up to roughly £26,400, minimum. With investment growth, potentially double that. That is real money, not a theoretical number. Real pounds. And even if you opted out years ago and you're just watching this now, opting back in immediately starts the clock again. 40 years is powerful, but so is 20, so is 10. There is no bad time to start, only later times. So you're enrolled. Brilliant. But staying at the minimum isn't necessarily the smartest move. Let's talk about how to actually maximize what you're building. Strategy 1. Increase your contribution percentage. If you can afford to contribute more than the 5% minimum, do it. Even an extra 1% or 2% now makes a significant difference over decades thanks to compound growth. And remember, every extra pound you contribute gets tax relief on top. So contributing an extra £50 per month might only cost you £40 from your take-home pay. Strategy 2. Salary sacrifice. Many employers offer something called salary sacrifice, also known as salary exchange. Instead of you contributing from your net pay, your pension contributions come out of your gross salary before tax and national insurance. This means you pay less income tax and less national insurance on that portion of your salary. For most people, this saves an additional 8 to 12% compared to standard contributions. Ask your employer or HR team if salary sacrifice is available. If it is, use it. Strategy 3. Match your employer's maximum. Some employers have enhanced contribution schemes. They might say, we'll match your contributions up to 8%. If you're only contributing 5%, you're getting 3% employer contribution. But if you push to 8%, your employer also puts in 8%. That's an extra 5% of your salary going into your pension for free. Read your employment contract. Know what your employer's maximum match is, and contribute at least enough to hit it. Strategy 4. Don't cash out when you change jobs. This is a big one. When people leave a job, there's sometimes a temptation to withdraw their pension or just forget about it. Don't. That pot keeps growing, even when you're not contributing to it. Consolidate old pensions into your current one, or track them using the government's pension tracing service, but don't cash out early. Early withdrawal triggers significant tax penalties. Let's talk about who opts out and why. Research consistently shows that younger workers and lower earners are most likely to opt out of their workplace pension. And the reasons are understandable. I can't afford it right now. Retirement feels so far away. I'd rather have the money in my hand today. I genuinely get it. Life is expensive, especially right now in the UK. If you're struggling to cover rent and food, a pension contribution is a difficult ask. But here's a reality check on each of those reasons. I can't afford it. After tax relief, your actual cost is lower than you think. On a £22,000 salary, The 5% minimum contribution costs you roughly £55 to £60 per month from your actual take-home pay. That's about £2 a day. And your employer is adding an extra £33 or so on top. You're putting in £60. Your pot gets 93. Retirement is too far away. This is actually the strongest argument for starting now, not later. The earlier you start, the more time compound growth has to work. A pound invested at 25 is worth dramatically more at 65 than a pound invested at 45. Time is the most valuable ingredient in building wealth. I want the money now. Opting out doesn't give you your employer's contribution. That money disappears entirely. You're not choosing between pension now or cash now. You're choosing between pension or your contribution back minus employer's contribution. If your circumstances genuinely mean you need to opt out temporarily, do what you have to do. But set a reminder to opt back in as soon as things improve. Auto-enrollment means your employer must re-enroll you every 3 years anyway. But don't wait that long. Let's finish with an important reality check about the state pension. Because a lot of people think, well, I'll have the state pension anyway, so it'll be fine. And yes, the state pension is a genuine, valuable foundation. The current full new state pension is approximately £11,502 per year. That's around £221 per week as of 2024-25. To receive the full amount, you need 35 qualifying years of national insurance contributions. You can check your NI record and state pension forecast for free at gov.uk. But here's the honest truth. £11,502 a year is £958 a month. In most parts of the UK, that doesn't cover rent, bills, food, and any kind of quality of life. It was never designed to be your only income in retirement. It was designed to be the floor, not the ceiling. The people who retire comfortably are the ones who built something on top of the state pension, through workplace pensions, private pensions, property, savings. The people who struggle are the ones who assumed the state pension would be enough and never built anything alongside it. You do not want to work your entire life and spend your retirement worrying about money. The workplace pension is the simplest, most accessible way to avoid that outcome, especially because your employer and the government are both helping you fund it. There is no easier way to build long-term wealth available to the average UK worker. None. Let's bring it all together. Auto-enrollment means most UK workers are automatically put into a workplace pension. Don't opt out without seriously thinking about what you're giving up. 3 sources fund your pension: you, your employer, and the government through tax relief. Minimum contributions are 8% total, 5% from you, 3% from your employer. But many employers offer more. Find out what yours offers. Tax relief means every £80 you contribute becomes £100 in your pension pot, instantly. Opting out costs you employer contributions. That money doesn't go to you. It just disappears. Salary sacrifice can save you money on tax and NI. Ask your HR department. Always contribute enough to get your employer's full match. It's the closest thing to a guaranteed return you'll ever find. The state pension alone is not enough for a comfortable retirement. Build on top of it. One action to take today: log into your pension portal, check your current contribution rate, and find out your employer's maximum match. That's it. 10 minutes. It could be worth tens of thousands of pounds. That is your complete guide to workplace pensions in the UK, and why ignoring yours could be one of the most expensive financial decisions you make. If this video helped you see your pension differently, please hit the like button. It really does help this channel grow. Subscribe if you're not already. I put out practical UK money content every week, and this is exactly the kind of thing I cover regularly. Drop a comment below. I'd love to know. Are you opted in? Are you contributing more than the minimum? Or has this video made you think about changing something? Let me know. I read every comment. All the tools and links mentioned today are in the description below, including how to check your state pension forecast and trace any old pensions. As always, this is general educational content. For advice specific to your personal situation, please speak to a regulated financial advisor. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.